All the weapons.
Okay, so welcome to this US chat. Some of you have been here with us before, some of you haven't, I'm pretty sure. And I think I'm going to start by explaining these chats we're trying to have every, say, 5 to 6 weeks with different communities. We travel around the world. Normally it's Marilyn who's with me. Today I have Susan here accompanying me. And basically what we're trying to do with these chats is getting to know who is out there, what are you doing? How can we help you? And also show you how to navigate our website, because we understand that sometimes it's a bit confusing for people, and seeing within what questions you might have about all our programs. So welcome. We might want to take a minute just to do some deep breathing to become more present, I think.
I have a bell. Do you want me to time a minute?
Yeah, okay. That's lovely. Thank you, Susan.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, we just sit comfortably. We don't need to move. We don't really need to close our eyes, but just concentrate on our breathing, on feeling the breath coming in and out of our bodies. And as we're doing that, maybe we can take a moment to ground, to feel our feet or our body on the chair where we're seated, or the feet on the ground. Just settle into that. Just feeling the weight of the day leave us. Maybe inhaling all the love and light that is surrounding us. Taking that moment to feel present and connecting to everybody on this call. Through our hearts, through our senses. And as we open our eyes, just continue to feel this connection of the present moment. And well, we can probably get going. And I'm not used to these meetings having so many people, so I'm very, very excited, I must say. Usually about 2 or 3 people come. So I think we can be brief, and I want to hear from everybody. So we'll make a round of maybe say we know where you're from. If the new ones that have joined us, if you can rename in the Zoom where your name is, and say where you are, where you're from, what city you're visiting us from, or what state, whatever you feel more comfortable with. Thank you. So that we can leave that part out and we can go deeper. So we can start, and I'm going to go around my screen. I think that's going to be the easiest if I start pointing you out and your name and what you're actually doing here, and maybe how you found out about the charter. Okay, so the first person I have is Steve Kramer. So you can introduce yourself. Thank you.
So I'm Steve. I found about the charter a year and a half ago, through the United Nations Interfaith Week, and I participated in some of their offerings, and one of them was sponsored by the Charter for Compassion, and fell in love with it. And a couple weeks later, I retired from being a hospice nurse for 30 years and had some free time on my hands and started participating in courses, and that was about 7 courses ago, and am very involved now. And here I am.
Yeah. Yeah, Steve is doing a wonderful job. He's one of our volunteers, lead volunteers in the sector of environment, but is also helping us in the interaction between different sectors. So I think you're also involved in social justice and peace and everywhere, which is quite natural because all the sectors in Charter do interconnect. We have that common word, compassion, which brings us all together. So thank you, Steve. Okay. And so the next person on my screen is Wanda from Tucson, Arizona. Would you like to introduce yourself, Wanda? Thank you.
I don't know how I got here.
Okay. That's a great start.
The email invitation. So at some point, I must have checked into Charter for Compassion. I remember years ago, there were some charters for compassion that I signed, but I don't think it's from that long ago. I participated in the Pachamama Alliance training, and maybe somebody from your organization was involved with that. But I guess the universe wanted me to be here to learn more.
Okay, wonderful. Welcome, Wanda. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. So the next person I have on the screen is Wade from San Francisco.
Good afternoon. So I don't know, I entered the University of California, Berkeley in 1962 and became immersed in most of the movements associated with the 60s, including the civil rights movement, anti-war, and human potential movement, and had some religious experiences backpacking in the High Sierra. And in 67, I dedicated my life to organizing communities of faith, love, and action, wanting to integrate the personal and the political. And I've been doing that ever since in one way or another. I discovered Karen Armstrong's project, I think even before the charter was circulated, and I signed it instantly. And early on, invited people to form the Charter for Compassion Network, which was an effort to encourage political activists to embrace the charter and advance it. And after that faded, I got involved in other projects. And right now, I'm working with a number of colleagues in developing the Compassionate Humanity Community.
Nice.
One thing that's distinctive about our effort is that we want to encourage the development of mutual support for undoing social conditioning that's divisive and hyper-competitive and encourages people to pursue power for the sake of power.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll stop there and maybe post a link to our website.
That would be really nice. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wade. So it's a long journey, and it's very interesting, and we'll see how this all connects, because I know that one of our next challenges is how do we all connect and create this massive network or matrix, or it's been various words have been using, but I think one of the purposes of Charter for Compassion is precisely for us to all, for big organizations and small human beings, that we might be able to join now and hopefully be able to end with violence, bring more peace or harmony or some kind of something nicer to the world. So thank you.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so the next person now on my screen is Stephanie Khan.
Yeah, my name is Stephanie Bushra, and I'm an artist and writer and poet, and I'm looking for ways that I can help the charter. And like, I don't know, like I'm a would-be Sufi Muslim. I go would-be Sufi because I'm trying to be a Sufi. And the thing is, like, I'm wondering how much Muslims are involved with the charter and would like to represent them. And I'm just beginning, and I'm just seeing where I can contribute my talent to the organization. So that's what I'm trying to do right now, is just see where I fit in.
Thank you for raising that, the question of how many Muslim partners do we have? We do have a few. So
Yeah.
you need to talk to Marilyn about that, but we can set you up and see who you can meet along the way.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, I know that you're getting closely involved in the interfaith sector, aren't you?
Yes, definitely.
Slowly,
Yeah, like
but surely.
through my writing, like I yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Stephanie. And so we'll move on to the next person on the screen, who's Andre. I had a meeting with him yesterday. So for me, it's really nice that he's decided to accompany us today.
Yes, namaste. Nice to see everyone. I was lucky enough to meet Karen Armstrong when she was just first starting and promoting the Charter for Compassion. She was here in Boston. And what caught my attention was the golden rule and uniting everyone. And I'm a peace activist, and that fit in perfectly. That's what we all have to do, is find that peace within first. A great start today, Marita, but thank you.
Thank you.
And so I've been following a Charter for a long time, and lucky enough to meet you yesterday, Marita and Marilyn. So glad to be here. But I'm promoting nonviolence as the way to come together.
Yep, and it's a beautiful project. So, and there's information on our website, which you can all visit. But also, Andre, feel free to post a link if you want in this chat, so that people can see you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So the next person is Eileen Epperson from Connecticut.
Yes,
and I'm sure I didn't pronounce that right. Connecticut.
Well, you pronounce it probably the way more like an Indigenous person would, but so I am in Northwest Connecticut, and I heard about the charter pretty close to the time that Karen Armstrong did the TED Talk. I think it's 2008. And I'm a Protestant minister, and I live in a town, Northwest Connecticut, called Salisbury. And a colleague of mine at the time, who was the pastor of the church, a church in my town, fell in love with Karen Armstrong at the Chautauqua event one summer, and immediately signed up, and then came back and signed her church up. But I don't know that everybody else was really quite on board. And then Diane and I worked, we really both got kind of lit up about this, and we had some meetings in the library, and what would it be to have Salisbury be a city of compassion, or a town of compassion? And interestingly, she's moved on. She moved on about 4 years ago. But my town is a town of compassion. It is, I don't know, something's been happening in the past few years. I'd love to think we got something started. But it's an amazing community, just incredibly caring. And even with the reserve of a New England town, my work, I've done a lot of different things over my 32 years, but currently I'm a spiritual life coach with a focus and a specialty in forgiveness coaching and communication coaching. I'm glad to be here. I'm
Okay.
glad this is a large crowd.
Yes, so am I. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I have seen the name Salisbury come up in a couple of my searches around the website. That's what I do generally, is go around the website and the database and try and figure out who's active, who's not active, and how can we once again join forces. So thank you for being here. It's really nice. Thank you. So the next on my screen is Joyce.
Hi, everyone. I just felt intuitively drawn to come here. I did do, I think through you all, the compassion integrity training during the pandemic, which was mostly review, but it was great. I'm going to piggyback Steve. My background is in nursing as well. And Wade, I was going to say, when you mentioned the human potential movement, I'm a grad student at Meridian, and Jean Houston is our chancellor. So she was very affiliated with human potential. I'm also interested in power. And then Andre, when you said it starts within, I couldn't agree with you more. So I left my nursing job in 2015 in Boston. And the last 7 years have done a lot of deep learning journey. I did facilitate, was the director of training for the Maine Resilience Building Network. But on the side, I have done work with nurses and I'm launching a business called Nurse Flourish Full-Time. And I am in some groups. I just feel very called to transformation in my profession and industry. And very just heartbroken about what nurses endured throughout the pandemic. And so, you know, one of the things, I'm very interested in lots of things. One thing I'm interested in is that we're not making progress like on the Sustainable Development Goals globally. You know, any progress we made on poverty has been wiped out with the pandemic. So many things, our institutions, gender issue, you know, so one thing I'm interested in, it's called the IDGs, Inner Development Goals, and it's this movement toward inner well-being and giving people skills. And I could go on and on, but I'm concerned. I'm concerned about my country, the world. You know, we're going into midterms, and anyway, glad to be here. Want to do my part.
Thank you. Thank you. That was really nice. Whilst you were talking about nurses and the support or lack of support, I do know that Heart Math Institute is, you may have heard of it already, but they do have a course especially for nurses who need that kind of support. So it's meditations especially dedicated to them. And I've heard that the nurses I know that have taken it felt so much better. And it's only the tip of the iceberg, I know. And there's so much more to work at. But if that helps, and it can help your colleagues,
Yeah, I mean,
in the nursing community, then it's
right.
out there for you.
I mean, it's a harsh culture, and you know, there are many nurses in this country who are not eating lunch, or going to the bathroom, and it wasn't healthy before the pandemic. But anyway, we need structural change. And so I've said enough, but thank you. Yeah, I do know about HeartMath.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So the next person here is Monica. Monica
I think
Steyer.
I just want to jump in and say Jennifer has to leave. She just sent a
Okay.
text saying or chat, she has to leave, so maybe she
Maybe
might
Jennifer
wanna-
can go now. Jennifer, would you like to introduce yourself before you go? Will your device still allow it?
I'm calling from Missoula, and I, like Wanda, don't really know exactly how I ended up here, but I really appreciate all of your work and would love to just stay tapped in, and eventually would love Missoula to become a city of compassion, or
Mhm.
town of compassion. Yeah. Thank you.
Do contact us and we can we can probably send you some information on how to do that.
Okay. Wonderful.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, it'd be really nice. Thank you. And I hope you can stay on because I'll be showing other things on the website that you can also join and start being more in touch with all the activities that we do. Mhm. Thank you for that, Jennifer. Okay. So now it is Monica's time. Hi,
Okay.
Monica.
Well, that's fine. I had heard about this Charter for Compassion. Actually, I think Karen Armstrong was at the Parliament of World Religions in 2006 in Barcelona, Spain. And I think she mentioned it then, if I'm not mistaken. Could have been later, like 2008. But I joined it right away and just have kept my eye on it ever since. And one of the churches that I served, I'm a retired pastor in the Presbyterian Church USA. And so I've been very active since throughout my life around activism and so on. And it's really important to have a balance, a spiritual balance. So I've combined that with hospice work and also with pastoral counseling and what have you. So anyway, I'm at the point where I'm doing some exploring, trying to figure out where to put my energies. And I saw this and I thought, well, let me just test this out and see what this, make a connection here. Because I
Mhm.
plan on attending the Parliament in Chicago
Oh, lovely.
next summer. So
Great.
yeah. So I don't know if
We'll be there too.
Charter for Compassion is going to do anything there, but
Mhm.
I'd be interested in hearing about that. And also, if you put the link, Marita, about helping to start a charter
Mhm.
chapter in a city. I'm in Skaneateles. It's
Mhm.
the kind of, it's a tough place politically here.
Yeah.
I think they need
Okay.
it.
Okay. Well, Susan kindly put my email in the chat there, so you can email me directly and we can start conversations from there. That's going to be the
There it is.
easiest.
Okay.
Mhm. And I love to hear the word Barcelona, that you were there, because I grew up in Barcelona. So
Oh my gosh, how wonderful.
Yeah.
that was really nice.
I loved it.
You too, Eileen.
Were you
Okay.
there? Oh my gosh. Okay.
So that was really nice.
That
Yeah.
was,
And also together with what Joy mentioned, I'm also a CIT facilitator, and I've been involved in CIT for the last probably 5 years, 6 years. So I met them in San Antonio, and then I brought the program over to here to Mexico. I helped translate the program into Spanish. And I think it's it's a fascinating program that really, really works to find out and figure out what compassion is really, and how will I be able to express that. So I'm looking forward to continuing work with Compassionate Integrity Training, it's called, and we'll probably be having it next year here in Charter for Compassion. So hopefully we'll be doing that soon. Thank you, Monica. So we'll move on to B, who's next on my screen.
Hi, I'm in Sacramento, California, and probably, gosh, first came across Karen Armstrong back in seminary, probably like 20 years ago. And I've attended the Parliament of World Religions, and she also was a keynote speaker at Unitarian Universalist General Assembly. So somewhere along the line, many years ago, I came across the charter and signed it, and I've taken a few different trainings, but I'm just recently retired. And so having, given up many of those kind of duties, I'm looking for a larger way to be connected and do some other work, having stepped away from hospital chaplaincy and hospice work. And so I'm looking for some other ways to connect and to be a part. The politics are getting very difficult all over the place. And so I need to be more active in a larger way. So thank you. And I'm just exploring.
Yeah, well, we do have a big community, a few city partners in California, and I'm pretty sure Sacramento is one of them. But I would have to look into that but also, once again, if you do want to write to me directly, I'll be able to give you more information about that. Thank you. Great. So I've got Janet. Janet just joined us, if I'm not wrong. Janet, would you like to give a brief introduction of who you are and what we're doing? What you are doing, rather. And how you got to know the charter is the big question today.
Well, I don't remember how I got to the charter, but I've known of Karen Armstrong for a long, long time, read many of her books, and I just think it's wonderful to have this outreach right now. So I'm eager to learn more.
Okay. Where are you based? Where are you phoning in from?
Denver, Colorado.
Denver. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. That's great. And last but not least, we have Alem Makonnen.
Hello, everyone. Forgive me for the overlap and wish to join you today, and also for being off camera. I was doing my best to hear as much as I could of your introductions. Thank you for sharing. Might you guide me in what would be helpful to share by way of intro? And then I came with a question in mind that I would love to check in about when it's a good time to do so.
Okay. Where are you based, Alem?
I'm in the Bay Area, California. We're all here from the States. Yeah, okay. I'm in the Bay Area, California, Northern California.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Well, that's wonderful. So you have a wonderful and
He wondered if there was anything else to add to her introduction.
I don't think so. You've basically said it all, unless there is something what do you actually do?
I work in the spheres of education, health and well-being, contemplative practice in the arts. I'll throw my question out there, which is I'm interested in knowing, I believe at some point the Charter for Compassion, well, let me back up. Is there a time where the Charter for Compassion, that there might be like sister cities? For example, might there be a relationship between a Bay Area Charter for Compassion. I'm interested in knowing what exists in the Bay Area, in the broader Bay Area, in terms of charters for compassion. And I was not able to attend, I was away, but I'm also interested in knowing where there are charters for compassion in Africa and also in Mexico. And if there's the possibility of being in conversation from two different locations about compassion and having some bit of exchange be a part of the dialogue around compassion. Thank you
Okay,
for
thank
allowing
you.
me to offer the question. And I can be even more specific in
Wonderful questions.
specifically in like Baja, which is sometimes considered California Sur or South, in that area,
Mhm.
the Pescadero area, El Pescadero specifically. Thank you.
Okay. I'm taking notes of this because that was rather long, but yes, we do. There are some sister cities. For example, San Antonio is sister city with Monterrey. And I'm based in Monterrey, Mexico, for example. And so I know that the mayors often get together or sometimes get together and talk about this unity they have. So they do share a lot of common things. We're so close to each other. It's just across the border. I think about 30% of the people in the city where I live in San Pedro actually have a second home in San Antonio or in Austin. So Texas and the north of Mexico is very much connected. We have some areas in Africa. I wouldn't be able to say exactly how many, but I know that we have 3. There's Cameroon, there's Botswana, as far as I know, and I wouldn't, South Africa probably has a few.
South Africa and Zimbabwe.
And Zimbabwe. So we do have compassionate communities there. And sometimes we don't know how active they really are, but we try to stay in touch through these same community chats that we have. We're trying to have them also for them. With regards to Mexico, as far as I know, Monterrey is the whole state of Nuevo León is a compassionate state. And so there are 17 cities within the state that have actually signed the Charter for Compassion through their mayors. So there's quite a bit of activity, and most of the activity goes through the organization I worked for previously, which is Encuentro Mundial de Valores. And so we have that. There's not that much movement in the rest of Mexico. I'm in contact with people from Chihuahua, Sonora, from that eastern, is it east? No, it's west, from the west coast of Mexico. So we are beginning to talks with them there, and I think we will have a lot of activity. There's maybe one person in Mexico City, 2 or that are present, are doing things, or are curious as well about what the Charter for Compassion is. But because the Charter for Compassion is basically in English and everything is in English, it's a bit hard yet to get through to the Spanish speaking community, even though I'm here now. So I'm hoping to get that happening and rolling soon as well. That was it. And around the Bay Area, once again, I will have to look into that to really see if I can contact you with people in the Bay Area who are involved and actively involved in compassion, in the Charter for Compassion. So unless, Susan, you have other information.
No, I just know that
failing
there
to
are
recall.
many cities throughout California that are compassionate cities and working on compassion initiatives. So I think maybe we can connect them up with the local city compassionate organization.
Yeah, it is the second, I think it's the second Tuesday of every month. Compassionate California comes together. And they do have a newsletter that goes out monthly to the people who they have registered as part of Compassionate California. So we can definitely contact you with them and you can see what's happening. Stephanie, I think were you in touch with somebody from Compassionate California?
Yes, Joanne.
Yeah, with Joanne. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I haven't had a meeting with her yet.
Okay. Okay, but
when they have a meeting, I'll definitely be on. Because I was gone the week that they had a meeting.
yeah.
I'm
It says, I think you were on holiday during that meeting, or because it was the
Yeah, I
second
was on holiday.
Tuesday of this month. So the next one will be coming up quite shortly.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to be on that meeting.
Great. Yeah, and Compassionate California actually does do a lot of work. So they've created a little booklet for children, which is beautiful, and created it in Spanish as well for the Spanish community. So they're moving on. They have a song and they're taking it to different schools around California, introducing the Compassion Heroes, I think they're called, as something in that line. So it's a very interesting project that is well worth knowing about.
And I put in the chat the link to the Compassionate California website. So anyone that wants to go and check out their website can do that.
Thank you.
Just reviewing the previously present looking at cities around the world. So
I can barely hear you, Alan.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this any better?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just indicating, I just taught in my original sound. Okay, that might help. Give me just 1 moment. Let's see if this helps. Is this better?
Yes, much better, actually. Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. I'm wondering too if this is an appropriate place, and I'm fine with deferring this to another time. But I'm interested for those who've gone through the process previously, lessons learned, and what are some of the what might be helpful in thinking about establishing a charter for compassion in a particular city. What feel to be some of the key steps in having a smooth process, and what are some of the obstacles that tend to be faced and best way to overcome them. So it can happen at another time, but I'm interested in thinking about, from those who have gone through that process, beyond the instructed steps on the ground, what helps to make it real? Yeah.
Well, the first thing is to have a passion for it, I think, is the main thing. Is once you understand that your passion is in creating this community union, is to reach out to your neighbors, to other grassroots organizations that can be in your city, try to get them all united. They're very simple ways. Susan, once again, has wonderfully added the Charter for Compassion, the Charter Toolbox, which offers a step-by-step process to achieve this. So we do know that everybody starts from a different point, we could say. And one of the things that we have found is, well, I can testify or talk about the Richmond Hill experience that I know about. And this was like one person saying, I want this city to be a compassionate city, going to the city, finding a space in the park where she started just sitting on the bench. So now they have the compassionate bench, and people know that she's going to be there every whatever the date is. And so they come up to her and they talk about compassion, and they get active, and now Richmond Hill is a compassionate city. She made a statement. They took it up above. They've just been awarded a community award by the town hall. So there's different ways to achieve this. And one has to really start first. I have the passion, I want to do this, and then starting to reach out to the different stakeholders around in the city. I don't like to say stakeholders because that's very businesslike, but just a group of people together who really want their town halls to act or to even include the word. That's what I was doing here in Monterey. Was maybe you don't need to do much because you are doing a lot already as a town hall. And maybe just include that word compassion into your vocabulary is enough. No, so let's start by that, and then we see how things work out. But there are different phases. Susan is showing us the website. So there is a step-by-step process which you can follow and is very effective as far as I know. And I think those are the steps that most of the cities have followed themselves. Does that help you, Alan?
Yes. And I'm particularly interested, while there are human beings in this virtual space, and that which can be known beyond what's written in the wonderful information that Susan brought up and the details of the sequencing of it. You know, if there are people in this room that have gone through the process, is there anything beyond, you know, that's anecdotal? Like, I really enjoyed hearing about the compassionate bench, right? And the idea that that was really wonderful to hear about. So just wondering if in the room there might be other, if time allows, other other examples, since my is picking up of
we have a few examples, and all cities are different one from the other. So one of the things I did want to show you on our website is also the Grassroots Wisdom Book, which is a space where we share short stories of success stories of what has happened, of what is happening around the world that we can replicate in our own cities. So we even have the example of my favorite one is Nelsonville, I think it's called, community dinners. And they started out, once again, they tend to start out small, these things. So there was this woman and she saw the kids playing out on the streets at dinner time at night, and she thought maybe they don't have someone to have dinner with at night, and I'm going to offer them that space. So she invited about 2 or 3 of these kids to come and have dinner. They loved it. They enjoyed it so much that they invited more. They asked if they could invite some for the next week. And so she said, yes, of course they can. And there were maybe 7 or 10 kids now, and they enjoyed it so much that they asked if they could bring more friends around. And it slowly people started to recognize this woman in the supermarket, and we're helping her, giving her tomatoes and stuff to make the dinner with and contributing to the dinner. And then the kids asked, can my parents come to this? It ended up being more than 350 people having dinner every Thursday evening. And even the town, the mayor of the town ended up going to these dinners and supporting the dinners and getting to know his people from this different point of view. So the Grassroots Wisdom Book is divided in sectors, so you can actually see different stories per sector. We're still filling it in. If you have interesting stories like that, they don't have to be partners to be here. An interesting story like that has happened, you can please send it to us. Once again, you can send it to my email, for example, and we edit it slightly and I put a nice image on it. And we have this here as a little treasure that we share with people who are at a loss of ideas of what we can do, and they can all be replicated and even modified or adapted to your own situation. So they're wonderful stories, and I would recommend you generally just peruse around our website, and you'll find nice stories that might inspire you. like the Richmond Hill or like this story of Nelsonville. And so there's plenty on our website, and we try to have as much free information as possible. Everything there is actually for free. So you just, and I'm going to show you, or maybe Susan, you, now that you're into the sharing the screen, we can show them the events calendar so that they know where to find our events. Because we are coming to the hour. Are you leaving us, Andre? Okay, thank you. Thank you for being here. I'll be seeing you soon again. Okay, so one of the main pages on our website is our homepage. You probably at some point affirmed the charter. That's why you're getting our newsletter or getting our invitations, okay? And we have the calendar of events right there. So you can see all the events which you can participate in. They're mainly, all of them are for free. There's some might ask for a very small donation and some ask for a voluntary donation, but they're there for you to actually participate in. You have the community chats. If you click on any of those events, you can just go into the registration page. So like, for example, this Saturday, we have the Charter Sangha. You're more than welcome to join us. You only need to register. And what we do there, this is a guided meditation by a meditator from Plum Village called Orla O'Sullivan. And she's been giving these Thich Nhat Hanh meditations for the last 20 years. So she's a very experienced meditator, and it's just a little present that you can give yourself. They last about an hour and a half, usually. So whenever you see one of those events on the calendar, you click on it, the registration page will open and you just register so you get the reminders. We always send out a reminder the day before so that it's easily accessible, so you remember. I tend to forget how many things I register to, so it's always useful to get a reminder. Another of the upcoming events that we have that is really important, and we would really, really like to see all of you there, is to our Global Gala. And I think you should go to the Global Gala page, which is on the Global Gala is our annual fundraising event. And we give out 4 awards to incredible people or organizations. This year, we're giving out an award to Mary Robinson, to Rihanna Eisler, to Deogracias Ning, and I would forget his name, Ningopotsi, from, I wasn't that far off, Miyizonkitsa, who created a series of hospitals. He had an incredible life, starting out as from zero, and managed to grow himself into a person who could create and build a hospital in Burundi, and United World Colleges that we're also awarding. And what is even like really, really nice is to see who is actually going to be presenting each of these people. So we have important presenters during that event as well. And not only that, but we're going to have a pre-dance party and an after dance party. So there's going to be a bit of everything. What I say about the dance party is it's going to be a place where the soul and heart of what Charter wants to express is done through music. So we've chosen very carefully who is going to be who's going to be the artist in our dance party. So it's very easy to register. You just go to the Global Gala page and you'll find where it says get tickets, that button there. And you can choose, we're going to have 2 timetables, so you can watch it either in the morning or in the afternoon, depending on what suits you best. You just choose one of them. The registration page opens. It should open. Yeah. And you go to get tickets, and we have a whole range of tickets to adapt to everybody's needs. So there's the early bird prize. There's a full prize. There's a donation where you can plant 3 trees with it. You can get a signed book by Karen Armstrong or a signed book by John Colkin. So we have various options to make them attractive to you all. Okay, so I'd really, really like to see you registering for the Global Gala, and I'd like to see you on that day there as well. Okay.
Marita,
Another of this. Yeah.
Marita, is this in person? This is in person?
No. This year
No?
it's going to be online. Hopefully next year we will have our global gala. And one of the things that we've
I'm
started
just
to
going to quickly
promote is
interject. The global gala will be in person at the Parliament. The Charter is a very huge partner with the Parliament. And so there'll be an entire compassion track at the Parliament of World Religions. And we'll have a table, spaces for people to come and have conversations. So we'll be a huge partner there. And our gala will be live in person there. And in the interim, it will be virtual and online.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And we also have a gala gallery, gala gallery, depending on how people prefer to pronounce gala or gala. And that is also another way that you can help us and help artists from all over the world. So we've created this gallery with artists, with pieces of art from all over the world. And so there's painters from Mexico, there's from Africa, there's from all around the US, from the Netherlands, from Canada. And if you scroll down just a little bit further, Susan.
I was waiting for the pictures to pop up. There
Yeah, they take their time because
Yeah.
they're heavy. But those are the artists, and you can choose to purchase one of those, or you can share this page with other people and see if anybody else wants to purchase a piece of art. And I was going to mention about the Global Gala. What some people are doing is having gala parties, so they're going to be I'm going to have some friends over that day, and I'm going to ask them to watch the gala with me. And so that way we also contribute to sharing this wonderful event that is going to take place on the 12th of November.
This is wonderful. So wonderful to reconnect with the Charter. So great.
Thank
so
you.
glad I got the invitation.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you did make it. I'm glad you did make it, all of you. And there is a lot going on. Sometimes we're just overwhelmed with the amount of courses and global reads. And now we're coming to the end of the year now. So I think that's kind of pacing itself down. But we're definitely preparing very special courses for next year as well. So we do hope you can all join us. And once again, the main object and the main aim of the Charter for Compassion is to really connect and see how we can inspire and help you in this challenge, which can be compassion extended or expanded, or compassion within. So wherever you think we can help, please just drop us an email and we'll be very happy to help you out. So
Yeah, I'm going to just quickly piggyback on what Alem said in terms of, maybe we could even do a community chat for those wanting to do more around a compassionate community, creating that, just so that we could maybe go in depth a little bit on some of the steps in the website. And I really liked what she said, are there people that are doing it, and could they share stories? And maybe we could have Marge from Richmond Hills or somebody else come to kind of share their experience. So that might be something in the future that we offer.
Yeah, I will be looking into that. Definitely. Thank you. So do you have any more questions? Can we help you out in any other way? we're coming to the top of the hour, and not that I want to rush out of here at all. I'm quite enjoying this.
No, it's great. I find myself lately showing up for, there's just so much out there, so much good stuff going on. Yesterday was a forgiveness in science given by the Templeton Foundation, co-sponsoring with Religions for Peace. And the week before that was Temple of Understanding and science and spirituality. And, you know, there's hugely good things going on, which is very easy to forget in the midst of everything else. But I seem to, and I don't do this all the time. It just seems like right now, I seem to have the openness, the willingness. Things are just coming at me that I'm saying yes to. And it's very heartening, I have to say. I haven't heard from the Charter for Compassion in ages, and suddenly, boom. So you're not alone. We're not alone.
Yeah, no, we're not. And I mean, we have 454 cities that claim to be compassionate and do a lot of compassionate work. We have how many partners? 4,500 partner organizations, and our database is 1,000, nearly 170,000 people. So what we started to do, what I do is I just go into the back end of the database, everybody from the US, and you are the ones that turn up, and that's wonderful. And whoever turns up to these meetings, as I said at the beginning, sometimes there were only 2 or 3 people, but we're creating the connections still. And whatever is happening and whoever does turn up is who is meant to turn up. So I really appreciate this, and I thank you all for your time. And do send me an email if there's any more I can do, because then I can do some more research in the back end and find all these answers that I couldn't give today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
So much. Wonderful
Thank
spending
you.
time with you all.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve, for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you,
all.
Stephanie.
Yeah,
Wade.
nice seeing everybody.
Nice to see
Okay.
you too. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, Stephanie.
I'm wondering if you might place an email that would be a good one to use for one or both of you for any follow-up. That would be wonderful.
Yes, definitely.
You've mentioned if there's anything, reach out via email.
Yes, and it's
Sure.
really easy. It's Merida's name, MERIDA at charterforcompassion.org.
All right.
All one word.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much.
And you will be getting this recording as well. So, and I will be sending that from my own email. So
Thank you so much. And would it be possible to listen into the recording from the African chat?
that one we did not record.
We didn't, did we?
Oh,
Okay. So, yeah, we need
look
to
out for future ones, I think is the best. On that events calendar that we showed you on the homepage, we will be announcing one hopefully before the end of the year. So
and know, Alem, that you can join any of the chats, a Canada
And
chat,
you can
a
join
Mexico
them, yeah.
chat, Africa chat, New Zealand chat. You are welcome to join any of them.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate it. So
All
when
right.
it's recorded, it only goes out to the participants, 1, and 2,
Yeah.
it's not always recorded.
yeah.
But that's perfectly, that's really helpful. Okay. All
Okay.
right. Thank you both
Thank
so very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye
you.
for now.
Bye.
You want to stop the recording?